those of you who are meeting us for the first time, again, my name is Annie Park. I'm a founder and a funder at F3 Ventures. F3 is currently a community that's Canadian, or that is based in Canada, and our entire ethos is around funding female founders. So today, you're all joining us for the Female Founders Showcase. Huge shout out to the untraceable Blockchain Futurist, ETHWOMEN, Toronto team, woo! For inviting us to share this space with them. Rebel has been a great time for a lot of memories, and I am so glad I get to create different kinds of memories here. Before all of the festivities, so festivities start today, I'd love to invite my co-founders, Saliha, Jawaid, and Valerie Song to come join me on stage. Yes. I feel like for those of you who do know me, you've seen and heard me all week. So I really want to give these two the opportunity to also share a little bit about themselves, their journey at F3, and how we all landed in Toronto for this really special moment.
Hi, everybody. I'm Val. One sec. Can you hear me? It's back. No, it's not. There you go. Okay. Well, I'm really excited to have the opportunity to later introduce 9 founders who will be showcasing their businesses for up to $30,000 worth of grant prizes. That means no equity taken, free money for these 9 founders, 3 of the 9 founders. Woo! If the founders could please just stand up, raise your hands. We're really looking forward to showcasing you later on. Woo! Encourage them. Woo! Some of them flew from around the world to be here, so we're really privileged and honored to have them on stage. I am part of the funding side of the business, so looking at which companies to fund, and we have different themes like education, regeneration, and diversity. So something that we really look for is what we call regens and not degens. So that's kind of like the ethos of F3.
Thanks, Val. That was a great introduction. I don't think I can top that. So I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. I'm the tech lead at F3 Ventures. I'm super excited to be a part of this journey where our focus is on just bringing greater accessibility to women in Web3 and also some hybridized technologies, hopefully in the future. And yeah, I'm really excited about being on this journey with my sisters. Thank you to Untraceable.
All right, so throughout the evening together, we will have, as we mentioned, 9 female founders showcasing, and this is a showcase like none other. This is not your traditional 5-minute pitch, freaking out, worried about saying the right things. Like this entire experience was designed to make the founders feel as safe and supported as possible. So they've pre-recorded their pitches, and the time that they'll be spending with you on stage is really to get to know them, because at F3, our entire investment thesis is around that when you invest in a female founder or a female-founded company, you are investing in that female founder. And so getting to know all about her, getting to know about the business through her perspective and her lens is something that we really take pride in. And so along the way, of course, we also want to celebrate the women who are not quite your prototypical founders in the space. You know, I think a founder is everybody from an artist, a music producer, a Etsy crafter, a real estate agent, like any woman who is really hustling to make a name for herself in this world and to have her voice heard is somebody I want to celebrate. And so on the stage throughout the 9 female founders, we will also have panels and discussions where we will be learning all about all the things in Web3 and beyond from the voices of women from all backgrounds, whether it's where they're from, how old they are, their level of experience. Diversity is all-encompassing here at F3.
Okay, so if we can flip to that next slide there, we got our founder showcase time. So audience, pay attention because there is involvement from you guys here. So you will help us decide who the winner of the F3 Female Founder Showcase and will win a portion of $30,000. So there will be a link at the end for you to vote. So don't forget to stick around and watch all the presentations. put your vote in and help us decide who to award these amazing prizes to. So could we get the 3 founders to come up and queue up right on stage, right next to the stage here, please? And can everyone give them a warm, warm welcome, please? Awesome. Yeah. So, sorry, we have Diana going first. And so we're gonna have these pitch presentations go for 5 minutes. We're gonna have questions, and then we'll go to the next presentation. So there'll be 3 founders at a time between the panels, 9 presentations total. And so, without further ado, we have the dressing room up first. Diana and Amine unfortunately couldn't make it in person, so we are going to watch their video, and then we're going to do a call. But if everyone could help participate, please, in a deep breathing exercise so we can make everyone a little less nervous, that would be great. So if you're ready on the count of 3, deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. One more. Let me hear those sighs. Last one. Okay, we're ready for the first video. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Diana and I'm the CEO and the co-founder of The Dressing Room. And today joining me is also my co-founder Amine, who's going to be doing the Q&A. Super excited to be the first one pitching, and I wish everyone good luck. We all got this. Let's dive into it, introducing The Dressing Room. Dressing Room is a B2B SaaS platform boosting sustainable fashion brands with blockchain to elevate their reach and customer experience. My story began a long time ago. I love to travel and I love experiencing new cultures. So far, I visited 99 countries on extremely low budget. Every time I travel, I want to feel the culture on my own body and want to take these beautiful pictures. But the cultural codes are not only about beauty, it's about preserving the history, preserving the authenticity of each country. And I understand that the sizes are very different in every country. And there is a huge problem. Expats living in Canada cannot properly purchase online clothes from Japan just because they don't know how they will fit them. And the problem of fitting and sizes is a global problem. More than 88% of all online shoppers feel that they don't know if the clothes will fit them in the real world. They purchase them anyway, and this has such a huge environmental impact, causing more than 50% of all purchased online apparel ending up in landfill. We created The Dressing Room because we wanted to solve this problem. We are connecting Web3, AI, and fashion into one unit, and we created these digital NFT twins of the fashion, where we enable our customers try clothes on before purchasing them. This is how our tech works. So we created this AI generative algorithm which enables you to create your true-to-life avatar by simply taking several pictures of yourself. Then we are working with some of the most talented 3D fashion designers creating 3D fashion pieces. So you can try this fashion on your own avatar before you purchase it, and you can customize it according to your preferences. So we are working with very unique brands such as Tall Size. This is a 3D model of their fashion piece. Tall Size is focused on very tall women struggling to shop online. Thanks to our solution, they don't have to struggle anymore. Or Chotishiasha is creating such beautiful handmade dresses, supporting more than 120 women in India. Thanks to our solution, they can now reach bigger audiences internationally. And we are bridging the huge gap between technology and underrepresented founders in fashion. And we are doing it one underrepresented community at a time. This is how it works. We are working on Flow blockchain. We put our NFTs on NFT marketplace, and then these customers come and customize it according to their preferences and purchase the actual physical version of the digital product. We have onboarded 135 brands, and we have raised over $50,000 in non-dilutive funding, but we have also recently raised $140,000 directly from Alexis Ohanian, the founder of Reddit, who is, through 776 Foundation, supporting climate projects such as the dressing room. And we are working with some of the most unique and sustainable brands that exist. And thanks to our attendance of the Metaverse Fashion Week, we have also spoken with some of the big brands that showed interest in our technology. We are part of the Canadian and the US market. We are planning to expand into Indian market, which is huge. Just recently we represented Canada
1 2
dressing room at the G20 vying conference.
Check 1 2 check 1 2 check.
We are offering not only the digital piece,
Check
but
1 2 1 2 check.
Product supported by the technology. And we have some great collaborations for imports and exports, DHL, Venus Ventures, which is a female incubator in Web3. Our business model is NFT as a service, so it's the number of NFTs minted per company per month.
Check 1 2.
This is our superstar team. We have 2 software engineers building the product. We also have a data scientist and tech analyst helping us bring the product to bigger heights. And we all have built previous startups before in the e-commerce sector. This is our advisory board. We are working with Lane, who is the co-founder of the CryptoKitties, the most famous blockchain game in the world. Also, we have Neha and Daniel, who are our e-commerce advisors. Thank you so much. We believe that we will change the way we shop online. Thank you.
We got the 2 founders on this phone call right here, and if I could get Sal and Annie to join me on the stage, please, to ask some questions, that'd be great. But I will ask the first question here. So for the founders on the call, hopefully you're able to hear me. Could you share a little bit more about your personal stories for the audience in the room of about maybe 100 people?
Yeah, so I came to Canada as an international student on a full scholarship to study computer engineering, and I'm originally from Slovakia, which is a small country in Eastern Europe. And when I was still in university, I started my first company. First it was like a marketplace for handmade products, and then I created TDR because I wanted to build technology to solve environmental problems. And now Amine.
Yeah, for sure. So Diana and I actually met through the full scholarship at the University of Toronto. I'm originally from Mumbai in India. We met because I was studying business at Rotman, and we both came together because we're inspired by fashion, by technology, and we definitely wanted to create some sort of impact. So we found this intersection of all 3 spaces, and we're really just using this platform to broadcast and get to light all of these incredible creators from around the world. We've partnered with some really cool organizations like Choti Si Asha back home in India, and so this is really a space to create impact and to do it with the help of tech.
Awesome. So judges, do you have any other questions for the founders here on the line?
I know it's probably really hard for hearing, so I appreciate everybody doing their best here. But I'm actually also always curious about how co-founders meet. What was the catalyst for you to come together and create this as a team?
Oh, so the founders met, so me and Amina met when we were at university as a full scholar, international scholars, and Kerem is also our classmate, so he's my classmate in computer engineering. So we've been together working, and we've known each other for more than 6 years.
Awesome. Audience members, if you do have a question, raise your hand, but I'm going to go to Sal. Do you have any questions here?
Thank you. So I'd like to really understand why this is the problem that you chose to solve.
It's because, as I mentioned, when I usually traveled, I always used this extremely low budget ways of traveling, and this enabled me to engage with locals and different cultures. And I've seen firsthand this effect fast fashion is having on communities around the world, and people living in rubbish or in slums. And that definitely inspired me to solve this problem for underrepresented groups, because those are the groups that are impacted by environmental changes the most. And also, Amina probably can speak more to this.
Yeah, for sure. I think really for us, what stood out was two different reasons. One is that we have this really cool avatar AI model that helps fit clothes for you. And we've realized across different cultures, different geographies, sizes can be very different. So we wanted to create that one space where you can be so comfortable in your skin by using this model. And you can fit into whatever you like from all over the world. The second reason was kind of similar to number one, which is we wanted to create a space where we can bring different creators of clothing and fashion into the same space. So really give organizations like Choti Si Asha or Tall Size based out of Canada a platform to sell and also just to broadcast these really cool things that they're creating. And I think, yeah, it was those two reasons that inspired us to solve this issue. We're also people that love fashion. We love being able to try out clothes from all over the world and step into different cultures. I think clothing is such a beautiful way of doing that. And so why not do it while creating some impact and giving a stage to other people and other creators that are artistic and creative from all over the world.
Okay, we have our last question.
Yeah. And from the technology perspective, I'd just like to understand what are some conscientious sort of like design choices you guys are making in terms of like choosing the blockchain, or, you know, when you're looking at anything else like internally from a data privacy perspective, like what are some of the things you're doing to serve like the core ethical principles that underpin blockchain technology?
We have about 20, 30 seconds left, so go ahead. Hello?
Can you hear me? So it was like, from the technical point of view, what's the technology that is making it more ethical?
Yes.
Was it the question? Yeah, so basically for the cultural products, every product is unique, and we want to preserve the authenticity of the product by introducing it as an NFT, because NFT is, every single one is different, is authentic. So that's the first thing. And also we are, thanks to the blockchain, we are able to track the entire process of it being made until it gets to the user. So from sourcing, from the entire process, we can actually ensure that this product was made ethically, is handmade. We can show the designer, the name, the story of the designer, all the way until it gets to the hand of the end customer. That's the beautiful thing about the blockchain, that it just gives you this insight of the entire process.
Okay. All right, that's all the time that we have. Thank you. Next founder, please.
To have the mass adoption in Web3, we will need one thing, the influencer, to be a part of it. Influencers have changed the way we connect, communicate, and engage with the world around us. They are more than personalities. They are the heartbeat of trends, progress, and culture. Stats show that 50% of millennials trust product recommendation from an influencer, and 31% of social media users will discover a new product through influencer. These stats are just showing how powerful the influencers are at shaping what other people think and making things happen. Having walked the path of an influencer myself by being one, I know exactly the mechanic of this ecosystem. During my journey, I realized I could harness not just my voice, but those of countless of others to create a symphony of influence. It's been 2 years at Voice Influence. We are working with 100 influencers. We did more than 100 campaigns all around North America. We know exactly the right strategy for a successful influencer campaign and how to find the right influencer for any project, whether it's in Web 2 or in Web 3. The cool thing is that it works for everyone, for any project, like I said. Either it's a new technology or a startup in Web 3 or a foundation. Everything that the influencer touch will expand. And if we want to have the mass adoption in Web3, I'm telling you, the influencer have to be a part of it. We understand that at Voice Influence, and that's why we built our own NFT collection called All the Same. It was the LGBTQ+ collection. We built on ETH blockchain, and we hire more than 50 influencers all around North America and LA, New York, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver to be a part of the promotion for the collection. We also have our own e-commerce brand. We scale the brand with the same strategy, the same kind of influencer from $0 to $1 million in less than a year, and we did this multiple times on multiple brands. We also have clients like foundation, brands, services, entertainment, festival. So it's just an example that influence knows no boundaries and it's virtually limitless. At Voice Influence, we're in the forefront of the next phase of the influence, where AI influence will become a thing, will become a reality. With your support, we will be able to include AI influencers in our campaign and use their data to amplify our impact. However, we firmly believe that human connection is essential, and that's why at Voice Influence, we are dedicated to keep human influencer at our core of our approach. Our goal is for AI influencer and human influencer to work together smoothly, like a perfect team to create a powerful impact. Your support moves us towards this new journey where technology and authenticity meet to redefine influence. So join us in crafting the evolution.
Oh my God. Oops. It's hard to see us and the team. I know. Hey. All right. Yeah, here. You go. Yeah. Come on up. Come on up.
It's very hard to see you on a TV. Do I sit? Okay. Yeah, like watching yourself, it's something we don't do every day.
Okay, so we have our non-AI selves on stage to ask questions. Yeah, go ahead.
It's funny because I know you so well, Fried, but I don't actually know the origin story because you were an influencer.
Yeah, I was.
And so what compelled you, or what was the catalyst for creating Voice Influence to start?
So I was an influencer. I was doing all these campaigns with international brands, and basically when I was on the spot and I was, of course, friends with a lot of influencers, I realized how this economy is so powerful. It's basically a $100 billion industry, and it's just grow years after years. Everyone is on their phone, and TikTok is just, it's happening, right? So I was seeing more as an entrepreneur art. I have an art of entrepreneur, and I was like, okay, it's fun to be an influencer, but I know that I can create so much more, not just for myself, but also for brands to use those voices. And that's why I called it Voice Influence, because we use voice to influence, to help brand influence their clients and to bring, to choose basically the right clients for their brands and project.
Sorry, I have a follow-on question. Is, you know, our investment circles are regeneration, diversity, equity and inclusion, and education. So I'm wondering how that fits, how you, because we know how, I have an idea of how it fits, but I'd like to know how you see it fits into those circles.
Yeah, so it's very, very important at Voice Influence. We hire very diverse influencer. We believe that when a brands come to us and a project, by choosing the right voice is also including everyone. We're very powerful as well for LGBTQ plus project and brands. Lots of brands are coming to us to find like LGBTQ plus influencers. So we do believe that we need diversity in our choosing for right influencer, because you know, a campaign of influence has to represent the world, right? So if you want to touch everyone and more customer, well, the world, look at us, we're all different colors. So we want to make sure in our finding of influence, our choice, we represent as well the community, which is the world.
Thank you.
Could you share a little bit about how you monetize and maybe walk us through a case study on how that works?
How we monetize? Well, basically, influencers they have their own fees, they get rates, so we negotiate with them and the brands as well. Like we get paid for this. What we want is that we want to make sure that our campaign will generate profit. So with our data, with our system, we are able to pinpoint like what will make, you know, income and a better ROI, for the brand. And as well as, that's why I speak about AI influencer, because AI influencer is going to happen. It's going to be a reality. It's already out there, but it's going to be more and more. At Voice Influence, we want to make sure that we keep the human influencer as well in the core of our roster. But with the AI influencer, what it will provide is that we will be able to have more data, and we'll be able to create more a key of communication for our human influencers as well, to be able to integrate the good message on how can I speak to the customer of the brand who hire me, but put it in my own world as well.
Any last questions?
I wanted to turn the tables a little bit. So I think it's really important that if you want to change the finance industry, you also have to like change some of the roles that are associated in the funding cycle or any other kind of process within. So are you selective about the kinds of investors that you bring on?
Yes. As long as you do business with your art, we're a good match. if that makes sense.
More time or no?
Great. Yeah, one more question.
Okay, I do have a question. So accessibility, whenever we talk about accessibility, I always wonder why people choose Ethereum. It's ironic because we're at an ETH Toronto ETHWOMEN, but you know, for the most part, Ethereum is not accessible for most of the population. So curious why you chose Ethereum as a blockchain to build on.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think at the time we really choose it because it was more secure, and all my development team as well were more confident on that blockchain. But what's fun with Voice Influence is that any blockchain, any platform, we're able to take what we do and put it in every channel. So we don't really, eventually we don't really care about like the blockchain, pardon my French, the blockchain and the platform, but we did choose that one just because it was more, just more secure, and as well that for influencer and Web 2, they know it more at that time. Today it's different, and our job is we have to make discover other platform, other Web 3 project through Web 2 influence if we want to have more people as well with us. If we want to grow the Web 3, but at that time it was easier for us also to book the influencer.
Thank you so much. Okay, we got our next founder coming up.
Hello, my name is Tatiana. I'm a founder of Minticode, decentralized IP marketplace for software creators. Open source is broken. Why? Because over 100 million software creators are not paid for their work. They contribute to open source, and anyone can copy their work without giving attribution or paying fair reward for their work. As a result, recent research showed that on GitHub alone there are over 100 million violated software licenses. Why? Because it's easier to steal someone else's code than to give a fair attribution to the author. 99% of new software projects rely on open source software. But open source developers are not happy. They are protesting against corporations that are using their source code in commercial applications for free and then require daily maintenance and support. Minticode helps software creators to protect their copyrights, monetize software development, and build supportive community. Minticode is a decentralized IP marketplace bringing together software creators, software buyers, and software contributors, where creators can stamp their authorship and sell different types of licenses and support services. Software buyers can request custom license and support and verify authorship, and software contributors can earn rewards by contributing to someone else's code. We're building decentralized IP protocol where software creators can share ownership with software contributors. Let me show you how it works. If you're a software buyer, you can search for any open source project. You can request custom support or custom license. If your support request is confirmed and the work is completed, you can pay in crypto or traditional currencies. If you're a software owner, you should connect your GitHub account and you will see the list of created support requests for you. Or you can list your own services and start selling your software. If you're a software buyer, you should search for any open source library of your interest by keywords or owner. You can filter results by language or licensing terms. And when you found a project of your interest, you can review the licensing terms here and request custom license or request custom support. To request custom support, you need to ensure that you registered on our platform. And if you registered first time, you need to ensure that your GitHub account, your wallet, and your bank accounts are connected. When you are ready to make your support request, you can press Request Custom Support button. Here you will need to specify due date for your work, amount you're willing to pay, payment terms, and describe your request. You can create it as GitHub issue as well. You can go to your profile and you will see that your support request is created and it's pending approval. You will also be able to see it in GitHub issues. When your support request will be accepted, you will be able to monitor the process, submit your solution, and receive the payment. Software development market is $600 billion market, and it's still growing. But our go-to-market strategy is to start with blockchain software. Why? Because it's mostly open source and because it's growing rapidly with 88% annual growth rate. Our business model is a combination of transaction fee, annual subscription fee for freelance developers, and corporate pricing for big enterprises. We released our first version of the product 3 weeks ago, and we noticed exponential growth. We are supported by Web3 Techstars Accelerator and Women Build Web3 Accelerator. Our team is a team of experienced software engineers. Before becoming a software engineer, I was a lawyer. I did my PhD in computer science at the University of Oxford, and for the last 5 years I was building successful businesses and was featured in Forbes Under 30 technology list. My team is a team of experienced software engineers who contribute to open source on a daily basis. That's why we are passionate about solving this problem. We envision a world where every software creator will have a full control over their intellectual property rights. If you like our mission, reach out to me at Tatiana@mintycode.io.
Thank you.
Also, I'm so sorry. I have Fred still on this slide, but it's actually Tatiana. Come on up. Okay, so Tatiana, I'm actually curious if you can share, we talked about lunch a little bit about Techstars, what that's done for you. How did you choose Techstars and what has it done for your business?
Yes, so that's a great question. So we just recently graduated from Web3 Techstars Accelerator, and it's one of the most famous accelerators in the world with 2% acceptance rate. I think why I enjoyed this experience because I met a lot of mentors and advisors that help to frame the way how we build our product, and it definitely helped us to launch successful product.
Thank you.
I'm curious if this is going to be more B2B or B2C, and do you foresee any risks to adoption?
That's a great question. We started as a B2C solution, and it was intended for developers, for freelancers who are searching for additional source of income or sustainable source of income if they would like to quit their full-time job. But what we found that many corporations are using open source, and for them it creates a lot of risks, especially legal risks. So that's why right now we're also introducing enterprise pricing for big corporations.
Okay, and then my second question is that do you see any geographical restrictions that can apply here? Because blockchains are about empowering the world. So I wonder if you thought about that.
Yes, I think why blockchain is important here is I'm really passionate about the idea of decentralized intellectual property and decentralized ownership. And what is interesting about open source that it was decentralized before blockchain was a trend, right? So open source is all about decentralization. So that's how I see that blockchain is definitely very essential part of our platform where software creators can share their ownership with people who help them to maintain open source projects. So it's not just you, it's a group of people who are passionate about project and they not only contribute for free, but they can also earn money by contributing and helping you to maintain your project.
Thank you.
I feel like I ask the same question all the time, but ultimately, like, you know, the circles that we invest in, I'm really curious how you interpret Minty Code as solving one of the three problems that we've addressed are really fundamental to F3. So again, diversity, equity, inclusion, education, or regeneration.
Yes, I think here what is important is, of course, diversity and inclusion, right? Because open source is not diverse and inclusive. It's only inclusive for people who have other sources of income. Because if you want to contribute to open source, if you want to do something good for public, you need to think about money. So that's why we're creating an open source that helps you to find, to have additional source of sustainable source of funding. And also I think it's all about education because right now software developers, they actually don't understand their rights. And every time when you join a company, you have to assign your intellectual property rights. And that's how we live in the world that is dominated by big corporations. And we live in a centralized world. Can you imagine the world where every software creator would have control over their IP rights? It means that they would decide how the world will use the technology, and technology will be used responsibly.
Yeah, and I'd actually like to answer that regeneration fits here as well, because you're increasing like financial access to parties that didn't have it before.
Yeah. If I can just also add, that's how excited we are about this project, but yeah, if I could also add like universities. I think there's not a lot of clarity around projects that get built inside of universities and how ownership, I mean, if you just watch The Big Bang Theory, that's a great reference of how so many students build inside of a university and don't realize that that IP is not theirs.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
We're excited.
Thank you.
Okay, we are back to Founder Showcase. If the three next founders could just queue up over here in the corner, please. We're going to get started with the next video and maybe shed a few tears as well. Ooh, okay, thank you.
I'm an artist, entrepreneur, and ocean conservationist from Southern California. With a background in branding and creativity within the music industry, I embarked on my Web3 journey in 2020, focusing on events and partnerships within the GameFi and data oracle space. As a co-founder of Alignment, our mission is to quantify impact and facilitate connections between individuals and charitable endeavors. I recently returned from a conservation internship, and I've been a nomad for over a year, traveling multiple continents. My number one takeaway has been that we as humans seem to think we're twice removed from nature. Nomad life, tourism, and gentrification all lead to an excess in plastic waste, especially in places like Bali or Thailand, where there's no proper waste management. Our ocean absorbs about half the CO2 we emit, resulting in 90% of coral reef mortality in Florida just this summer due to acidification and rising temperatures. We all want to help in some way, but unfortunately, academia culture makes the barrier to entry extremely difficult. Those who meet the requirements are often left discouraged by the state of our planet. The question really becomes, where do we start? Until now, there has been close to no transparency or accountability for where our donations are going. We see projects accepting donations via cryptocurrency, which is still very Web 2, but we have no idea where that money is going. Our solution is not only providing a window into your donation and its impact, but also an opportunity to get involved. Our solution is simple. Log in as you would any other application or via wallet. If not, we'll set one up for you. Here's your dashboard where you can see your impact score, the money you've contributed, and easily get involved with your favorite conservation project. Our partner initiatives will provide the details on exactly where your money's going, and allow you to donate via credit card or crypto wallet. Once you've successfully donated, you will receive your tax-deductible receipt along with a dynamic digital asset that will showcase the impact your donation has made in the days or months to come. Your dashboard will keep you posted on the trash you removed or the animal you're sponsoring via data and imagery. Socially, you can create your own user profile and complete online and in-person quests to up your impact score. Log coral nursery data or attend a beach cleanup to earn rewards from local and international brands. See and share the difference. Your digital receipt is a window into your donation and investment. It allows a connection to the cause and an ability to share on social media with proof of donation and proof of impact. To touch back on community, we'll be distributing rewards to those who participate on site by scuba diving, taking photos of wildlife, creating content to showcase our partners, measuring data, and our community is encouraged to volunteer to make a difference and earn rewards along the way. Our team is comprised with some of the minds behind Niantic, VaynerX, Filecoin, Chainlink, Interscope Records, among others. We're delighted to announce a strategic partnership with Chopra X, the technology arm behind the Deepak Chopra Foundation. With such a great team, we're currently initiating an event during Miami Art Week to bring education and solution to what our planet is currently facing. Alignment will be officially launching during this event. Some of our current partners include Big Cat Rescue, Sea Sirens, Center for Great Apes, VetPaw, Women Making Waves, and Chopra. Here's a short dive into our roadmap with our beta launch at Miami Art Week being our main priority, as well as our foundation logistics. Our end goal is to launch an ecotourism foundation based on education, sustainability, and supporting local communities. Rather than emphasizing how drastic human impact has become on nature, we strive to provide content that is solution-based. Our team is on the forefront of AI, and we will be implementing automated data collection and AI donation tracking. Our revenue streams include platform fees, data aggregation, Web3 management, XR brand activations, and ecotourism and education. Thank you for your time and consideration. We are currently wrapping up our pre-seed round, and we are also open to partnership opportunities regarding our event during Miami Art Week. We really hope you have a good time this week, and thank you again.
Okay, great. Cool. Let's get Jessica up on stage. Yay! Vibes.
Cool vibes.
Oh, don't be shy. Come on over.
Oh, sorry. I got 2 mics.
Double.
Hello.
Be doubly loud.
Double the fun. Okay. Hey, Jessica.
Hello.
Super excited about your project. And we've seen kind of like this sentiment of, actually, are you a nonprofit? I forgot to ask that. No? Okay.
Is my mic on? Oh.
There you go.
We are currently a C Corp, but we're looking into registering as a B Corp.
Awesome. I'd love to learn a little bit more about how you decided to structure your business, why are you going into B Corp, and all that.
Yes. So we initially, because we have a lot of American investment opportunities, they wanted us to start a C Corp. But with the B Corp setup, we're still kind of looking into that. We're also looking into perhaps offshoring a foundation with the Ecotourism Lodge, so people can come and help out. So that would be more of like maybe in Panama or Costa Rica. That's a little bit more crypto friendly than America is right now. So we're still kind of organizing that, but this would be like the technology arm of Alignment. So we would be licensing our technology to the foundation.
Very cool. I'm sure Sal will have questions about that. And if you can talk a little bit about your business model as well, and since you are a C Corp and for-profit, how does that work?
Yeah, so we take a small percentage, maybe 5 to 10% of the donation, but we're not really, we're basically processing we're not holding funds, so there's no like SEC compliance kind of thing. We're basically just processing that, and we're issuing a receipt as a digital asset NFT. And so that's kind of our current model, but we're also, since our team is they were with Niantic, they're not anymore, but they're very XR, like mixed reality, as well as Vayner's team as well. So we have a lot of opportunities to do some cool events with them. Especially in like the donation space. Like we want to bring charitable events into Web3. Yeah.
On the note of events, I know you had a question.
Yeah, I did. So I'd like to understand what the focus for the business is. Is it going to be the impact tracking, or is it going to be more on the events and partnership side?
So it'll be a little bit of both, just because we have, like, obviously events make us good money, so we're focusing more on the app right now, and then the app will launch at the Miami event. So we'll basically have different projects come in, conservation projects, and we'll be able to use our app to keep up with those, either donate or keep up with those conservation projects.
Yeah, okay. I had a follow-up on that, but continue. Sorry.
No. So yeah, so we're gonna have the app launch basically during that event, and then people can keep up with what we're doing and volunteer as well.
Okay, so is there going to be a component of events management within the app itself as well, or is that
Not yet?
Okay, perfect.
But that's a good idea. I like that.
Okay.
How are you vetting the projects that you're bringing onto the platform?
So my wonderful co-founder Nick over here, he launched a token called Tiger Queen, partnering.
Tiger Queen.
Yes, that's him.
He did.
So he launched that with Carol Baskin. So she's like our initial launch, most likely. And then with Chopra X on board, they also have like their wellness side. We want to have kind of an educational platform as well, of like how people can get involved.
Like vetted partnerships.
Yes,
before.
exactly.
And if just clarifying that the events are kind of like the go-to-market strategy.
Yes, definitely. We have like a huge network, which is really exciting. So with this Miami event, Vayner has expressed interest, and I basically came up with the idea of the conservation planetarium. So different projects can come in and showcase how they're like solution-based, basically. We want to showcase like how are we removing CO2? Why should we offset carbon? Like, where is that money going to? Or plastic cleanup, stuff like that. So.
Okay. I also saw AI in there. How are you using that?
So it'd mostly be probably for like data aggregation, as well as we're currently working with a project that's doing like underwater. I don't know if you've seen Chasing Coral. It was a Netflix documentary.
Oh, Chasing Coral.
Yeah,
okay. I thought you said Chasing Coral.
No, they're using underwater drones. So basically, they're remoting the data with those underwater drones. So that would be kind of more of an AI-based tool as well.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Job.
Over the past 3 years, we've asked hundreds of parents, students, and teachers, what's not working? Who do you never get to be in school? The #1 response is, I never get to be free to be myself. The Genie Eye DAO believes it's time for transformation in education at scale. We believe organizing micro self-directed learning schools as decentralized, autonomous organizations creates the possibility for kids, parents, and teachers to be authentic and free, having ownership and autonomy in learning. The Genie Eye DAO is inventing this possibility this fall with 7 micro decentralized schools organized as DAOs, serving over 175 learners in the United States, Canada, Uganda, and everywhere in the metaverse. We are inviting you to make the impossible possible. Fund transformation in education by purchasing an NFT from our collection. Join a Genie Eye DAO team. Together, we can invent a new global paradigm, a self-directed learning, democratic, community-driven approach to education, where facilitators, learners, and their families have agency and ownership over their education. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Everybody is a genius. Everybody is Genie Eye DAO. Greetings, everyone. My name is Karima Akila. I'm a former public school teacher and a homeschooling mom to 6 kids. We practice decentralized learning or unschooling at home. In 2016, my husband passed away, and that experience led me to create the Genius Schools. The Genius Schools are decentralized learning inside of a decentralized network of micro-decentralized schools. I know that's a lot of decentralization, isn't it? What that basically means is children are allowed to learn whatever they want to learn. They are in charge of their own learning. Our schools meet in person in multiple US cities, in Kampala, Uganda, and everywhere in the metaverse. Genii DAO funds decentralized learning from our treasury, documents decentralized learning in our Genie app, and teaches parents, kids, and teachers how to create on-chain governance for their learning communities. Our current Web3 business model is our DAO membership with governance via our NFT sale. Possible DeFi revenue streams that are proposed by DAO members include yield farming, lending and borrowing, token swaps and trading, and staking. We've received $10,000 from the Vela Ed Fund to launch our Genie app in 2022. We have self-directed learning founders outside of the Genie network requesting to join the DAO to receive funding and to use the app. And we just accepted a request to participate in DAO research. The first thing you can do to support us is enroll your kids in the Genie-verse. We would love to play with them. Purchase an NFT to help fund the DAO. Join one of our many DAO teams. We'll upgrade the Genie app with AI and blockchain to translate decentralized learning and then to tokenize it. We'll white label the Genie app and market it to centralized private and public school systems. We'll invest in a DeFi residual revenue product that's agreed upon by the DAO to sustain funding for our micro schools and DAO staff. At the Genie DAO, we believe in play. Our modus operandi is FAFO. We F around and find out. Come FAFO with us at the Genie DAO to create solutions for children, parents, teens, and kids so that they can be who they never get to be in school, so that they can be themselves. My name is Karima Akila, and I thank you.
Come on up. I feel like I just got 10 times smarter watching that. Woo. Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Which one?
Both.
Hello?
There
there we go.
We got it.
Can you put that one down there?
Okay, but before we start, can we just do a quick happy birthday to Karima?
Happy birthday!
Thank you. And it's also the Genie DAO's birthday too. So
Happy birthday! Aww.
2 for 1.
Double birthday.
It's gonna embarrass you with the whole song and dance,
No,
but
that's okay. We
we
can
won't
save
do
that for later.
Okay, lots of questions. I know Sal wanted to start.
Yeah, so I had a question first around how the policies are sort of like consolidated across USA and Uganda. I mean, you know, there's a lot of cultural differences between those societies. So how are you managing that?
Great question. So first of all, thank you for inviting me up here. That's just an amazing birthday present for me. So how on earth are we meeting the needs of all of these students in all of these different countries? Well, we begin first by satisfying the need of the state or the city or the government. So if the government has compulsory learning rules, then our job is to meet that first. So in Uganda, it's a very unique situation. So our directors there know what it is that they need to appease the government with. And then I spent about a year and a half meeting with our 2 Genius directors in Kampala over WhatsApp every Monday at 1 o'clock. And I spent the first 6 months just listening to what it is that their children need, listening to what it is that will make a difference in their communities. and then I followed their lead. So the best thing about what we do is I simply provide the scaffolding for learners and facilitators to stand upon, and then they get to build whatever matters most to them in their culture.
Okay, thank you.
I'm curious, so have you built all this on that $10,000? And if so, what would you do if you won a prize here today?
Ooh, well, yes and no. You know, that 10,000 plus, you know, some extra, you know, my kids had to skip out on some, you know, meals. Like, no, I'm just kidding. So yes, we did with that Vela Fund. Now, with this amazing opportunity, what I would love to do is to add AI to the app and to tokenize it. That is so needed. Like my son, I have 6 kids, y'all remember? Yeah. My 17-year-old just graduated from our unschool. This is why this is so important. He's self-directed, right? He taught himself how to code, taught himself everything that he knew. When it came time for him to apply for community college in the state of Georgia, I'm gonna put the state of Georgia on blast, he passed the AccuPlacer exam in order for him to begin taking community college credits. But the state of Georgia said, that's not enough. Even though you demonstrated that you can ride a 2-wheeler bike, we need to see your training wheels. We need to see how did you teach yourself how to code. And if you did not use our curriculum, you cannot come to our University of Georgia system schools. So my son missed out on a whole semester of college because I don't yet have the Genie app with AI. So the AI would have known where those standards were, because when I called the Board of Regents, I was on the phone with them for 90 minutes looking through their own website to find the credentials. If he had AI, my son would have been in school right now using the Genie app. So that's how I use those funds.
Does anybody else have any questions? I do. So how are you measuring success?
Great question. That is one that we get a lot. Especially in the school system, success is usually measured by other people. Other people determine what success is, and that measurement by others has failed many of us. So instead, we have a conversation with the learners and with their parents. And I simply ask kids, what matters most to you right now? What would success mean to you a year from now? So I asked my kids that, right? And so my daughter said, well, Mom, I want to gain confidence in spelling, in math, and wearing high-heeled shoes. So I said, well, how would you measure that? And she had a specific goal for her that would have meant confidence to her. And so I don't believe in anybody else determining what is successful. I believe in us owning our own success, and for children, giving them the opportunity to do that, and then, you know, putting it on blockchain as well.
Great answer.
Well, thank you so much. Happy birthday again to you and your
guys.
business. Thank you.
I want to talk to you about the Fun Pass. Let me introduce you to my friend Jojo, who's attending a tech summit. When she gets to the tech summit, Jojo scans the events and sees what interests her. She enjoys her session, checks out some vendors, passes by some entertainment, and then leaves. On the other side of the coin, vendors are left wondering, how can I stand out in the sea of attendees and businesses, relying heavily on walking traffic and traditional marketing methods that have limited results? Events struggle to create meaningful connections, and attendees are left with transactional and passive experiences. For attendees like Jojo, they drive their own interaction and have one-off relationships, creating a very transactional experience. Event organizers often lack the data and the platform to drive engagement. They have difficulty driving repeat visits, which ultimately lead to a stagnant lifetime value for attendees. Now, imagine this. At the Tech Summit, Jojo uses this pass. She's greeted with personalized welcome messages, and as she navigates through the event, she scans QR codes and earns virtual currency, which she can redeem for physical and digital rewards. With this pass, she enjoys interactive challenges, collect rewards, and unlock special promotions. This solution addresses a $500 billion problem. If we double-click into that and focus on professional and consumer events, this market is estimated to be $250 billion, with the serviceable obtainable market to be estimated to be $5 billion. We want to focus on the professional events segment initially because this demographic is actively looking for industry events as part of their jobs. They're easier to reach at scale and offers a direct monetization opportunity through corporate partnerships. This is why we created the Fun Pass. The Fun Pass is a rewards platform that transforms events into experiences. Our vision is to redefine how people engage, connect, and indulge in immersive experiences. So with the Fun Pass, you'll have a universal secured profile, which is portable across a user event's journey. And through a gamified experience, the Fun Pass transforms the event into engaging and interactive journeys by offering attractive rewards that incentivize behavior. Physical and digital missions create a hybrid event experience that extends beyond the physical boundaries while also creating a community around the events they just joined. With the Fun Pass, organizers can gain access to attendees and insights and trends, with the ability to customize missions to drive business goals. This results in an increase in attendees' lifetime value and an enhanced overall experience. All this powered by blockchain technology to enhance security, transparency, and decentralization of data. We're excited to share that we've launched our MVP in July at the largest night market in North America. Since launching, we have over 4,000 active users, and we've seen a 27% week-over-week growth. This results in an average of 12.5% increase in revenue across 25 businesses there. An official partnership with Near Protocol, we've been able to generate over 40,000 transactions on Near and held the #1 spot, generating the highest volume of transactions for the last 3 consecutive weekends. We've also been able to generate some buzz with over 3 million views on our socials. Here's what some of our users have shared.
Thank you very much for playing the Fun Pass. How did you feel about the Fun Pass app?
On the app, feedback.
Yeah. It was fun, yeah.
It was really easy to use, and the prizes are really clear. So it was really easy for us to rack it up really quick. Yeah.
Nice colors, very nice.
Because like in case you don't win there, you win something here.
So in the end, we all walk away winners. I'm glad I got my mug.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and I hope.
So why are we the team to build this? In my last 12 years, I've scaled teams, expanded into global markets, and tackled complex challenges in my corporate life. My superpower is to drive goals and create people systems that help position companies for growth and transformation. My co-founder, Wilson, has over 12 years of experience in the event industry. Having built a team of over 100 and generated over 50 million in revenue with 2 exits in the past, his superpower is his resilience and his adaptability in this fast-paced environment. So why am I jumping into this wild, wild journey? After becoming a mom of 2, it was extremely important to me to be able to choose where I spend my time while make a big impact and live a life aligned with my values. I'm determined to inspire others, especially ambitious women like myself who may wear multiple hats every day, to chase their dreams and build their empires fearlessly. Now I need your help. If you can pull out your smartphones and scan this QR code, we have a goal to award 10,000 stars today. Every scan made by someone in this room is part of a collective commitment to rebuild the matriarchy. Once you've earned your stars, come find me after to redeem your little reward. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. The funniest moment of the day is when I looked over at Annie and Sal and they saw you whited out your co-founder's face. Like, no men here, just kidding. No, Wilson is lovely.
We support Wilson.
We do support Wilson. All right, so time to have some fun. I know we talked a little bit about how you have some amazing traction. Can you talk a little bit about how you built that traction and where the future lies? Like what's next?
Yeah. We initially got the initial attraction because we were able to mobilize my co-founders on-site team. With over 100 staff, we were able to quickly collect feedback, execute, as well as educate about the application. And so since then, we were able to collect almost over 2,000 sample size, which allowed us to really take that information, analyze it, and tweak our product, whether that was from adjusting the onboarding experience, or if it was to adjusting our offer, or refining the value proposition. It really gave us that huge kind of unfair advantage to allow us to make sure it had a good impact.
So, in addition to F3, I'm also the head of events at Alio. It's a layer 1 blockchain. not near, but Alio. I'm just kidding. And this is like the bane of my existence, is like trying to figure out how to track metrics at events. And you're doing all of these weird things with QR codes and like requiring people to register for stuff. And I'm curious, like, what is the key metric that you find is the most tracked or the most interesting for like your partners?
Yeah, I was the most excited about this metric because we were able to provide true value, meaningful value, and I think this is how we were able to gain traction initially. So when we went to we tested it at the largest night market, and what we were able to prove was that across 25 of our businesses, there was an average of 12.5% increase in revenue. And so I find that from a event organizer space, that is something that's meaningful, and that's how we could integrate engagement into an event.
So just by being a part of some sort of activation on the app itself increased the business, increased the bottom line for the businesses that, okay.
Exactly,
okay, interesting.
exactly.
I'm actually curious to hear if you have a strategy for working with like existing ticketing or events management platforms.
Yeah.
And where do you see that crossover happening?
Yeah, I love that question because when I look at the event industry, it's quite fragmented in its tech solution. So say you are looking for events on Eventbrite. You go buy your tickets on Ticketmaster. You are trying to network with your attendees who had attended an event on Facebook. You're connecting with the event organizer via email to talk about logistics. And so I find that the event journey for a attendees' lifecycle is quite fragmented. So I believe what we would love to see, especially in the near future, is the Fun Pass integrating all those steps across the event's attendees' journey, and integrating it, empowering it with AI to personalize that journey a little bit more. So to give you an example, if we were to use smart matchmaking, we would be able to recommend optimal events for certain attendees that based on their preferences. And from that, you're gonna see a higher increase in event discovery, as well as a higher increase in ticket sales. And that's something that we believe can help really integrate that fragmented journey together.
Thank you.
Yeah, so most of the conferences that I attend or sponsor, for the most part, they have their own apps. So Blockchain Futurist is one, and I am ashamed to say I don't use the app, any of the apps. So I'm wondering, like, how do you get somebody who has negative experiences using conference apps, or even someone who's never used a conference app to do so? Like that seems like a heavy lift.
Yeah. So I would say when it comes to a lot of how we developed, we were very intentional about the design. So for us, with the Fun Pass, it's friendly, and a lot of people don't understand complex concepts, especially when it comes to blockchain technology. And so being able to simplify, make the application very simple to use, as well as very easy to have an interactive journey, we would be able to kind of onboard more users, especially when you know that there are potential incentivizing rewards that are available to gain.
Well, I mean, the name, the Fun Pass, already makes it exciting enough for me to try. Honestly, like, why call it anything else but the Fun Pass?
Exactly.
So last quick question. I know you have this QR code. Where can people find you to collect their gifts later?
I will be right here.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, if we could get the last three founders queued up. We got video number 1 coming.
There are lots of great reasons to meet with new people. Many new connections and opportunities begin online. Nobody belongs exclusively or permanently in a single digital space. The online spaces where people meet continue to emerge, grow, and change. The problem is, How do we more safely meet with online strangers in real life who could be using a fake identity, like an @handle or a digital alias? The chance of risk is low. Most likely, nothing bad is going to happen. But the stakes can be extremely high. In the worst case scenarios, potentially trafficking, assault, being scammed or stolen from, stalking, or even death. It looks like this. Before meeting, all parties upload their ID. At 3 of Cups, we are using smart contracts, ID verification, and social networks to mitigate some of the serious threats that exist in this emergent and complex problem space. As long as the meetup is safe and consensual, personal information remains anonymous. It is available if there is a real emergency or disagreement. Buddies are briefed with a personalized emergency plan and are rewarded for participating. Because at 3 of Cups, we want people to have fun, take risks, make friends, explore romance, take opportunities, and enjoy life. That's why we created 3 of Cups, to make meeting someone new much more secure and trustable for everyone involved.
Hi. I've been dedicated to studying and validating this modern problem and urgent need. I really needed something like this, and I realized there was no real product available that had achieved any level of mass usership in tackling this issue, and there was nothing available that I trusted or wanted to use. So I decided I was going to do it. I validated the idea with peers, contacts, and strangers. A lot of other people really needed this too. Confident with my core hypotheses and product strategy, I built a prototype and continued to network, research, and build support. I traveled for 6 months immersing myself in the Web3 world and with technology futurists. I wrote a blockchain-focused white paper which validated that the core functions of my product design support a scalable business model, multiple network effects, a growing global market, and an excellent use case for Web3. At 3 of Cups, we are modeling business and technology for social influence and scale. A peer-to-peer trust system composed of 2 core functions, a mutually anonymous ID verification and a social buddy system, using self-sovereign ID management and ZK proof mechanisms. A system of mutual participation, incentives, network effects, and community working together to increase usership and be most effective. Now we're entering the next chapter of our roadmap, building the MVP and getting ready to launch with selected groups in Toronto and across Canada. Specifically, people online dating, gig work and the informal economy, campuses and international students, micro-influencers, social media models, and online entertainers. It's 3 of Cups' ambition to become a global trust system and utility, offering an opportunity to onboard whole new worlds of users into the Web3 ecosystem, and most importantly, address a complex social issue that has never been addressed before in a comprehensive way. To connect, get involved, and stay up to date, scan the QR code on screen for my socials and contact info. I would love to hear from you.
Okay, hey Candace. All the single people raise their hand. I'm kidding, don't do it. Yeah, well, since we have someone who works in ZK, maybe Annie, did you have lots of questions or what?
I have so many questions. As I was listening to this, I was thinking about my poor brother who's been catfished a million times. And just like, yeah, you know, and he's just so sweet. He's the kind of guy that would just, anyways, he just sat through the date. But yeah, I'm actually really curious, like, how this integrates with existing dating platforms or apps. Yeah.
The concept is, the concept is that it exists as its own system and a tool, like a utility that you would use. You would meet anywhere on the internet because the places where people meet are constantly growing and emerging, and we don't even know where everyone is. Anywhere you can kind of meet someone, text someone, have a conversation, people are meeting and starting connections and relationships in those spaces. So I think being agnostic to a dating app or a platform increases usership.
So from a user experience, you are meeting somebody, say, on back in the day when I was dating, coffee meets bagel, and then once you've decided to go on the date is when you would bring this tool into the conversation.
Yeah,
okay.
And you both use it the same way.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I am curious to find out why you think blockchain is the perfect sort of technology to build this on.
Yeah. Originally, I wasn't building it on blockchain. It was going to be a regular Web 2 app, and then I was deep diving into blockchain when I was traveling, and I noticed some of the concepts and pulling them into what I was doing. So trustless interaction. So, you know, smart contracts are useful when two people don't trust each other, but they want to engage with each other for a transaction. Right. So bringing trustlessness into the IRL meetup. Also code that makes commitments and having traceable data. So there will be some parts of the interaction that are recorded on blockchain, not all of them, but we have to decide which is the most important to store in that way. Also, when it comes to ID management, the Web3 space is really leading the paradigms when it comes to self-sovereign ID management using ZK proofs. Right? So I just thought that it was the right space. It honestly has kind of made it harder and taken a longer, but I really feel that the concepts of Web3 and the ethos and the philosophies support the longevity and the integrity of what I'm building.
And actually, as a follow-up to that, so how will this solution protect people's private or personal information, right? Like, there's a lot of sensitive information that you need to upload. I think we would understand maybe, but it would be nice for the audience to kind of get a sense of it too.
We won't be like saving ID cards on chain. There may be codes that we take and then it's temporarily stored and available during the interaction. So like it's like for the few hours that someone meets up, that ID is available just in case something goes wrong. It like psychologically holds people accountable to be on their best behavior when they get together. As long as there's consensus that everything was cool, then most of it gets either burned and then parts of it encrypted and stored on the blockchain.
At any stage, does it enter the blockchain itself, or does it just stay locally stored in the person's device?
I don't know yet. Yeah.
Zero knowledge proofs. Yeah, we have to talk after this. I'm like, outside of this, there's like an entire $5 million in grants with Alio. So they're a layer 1 ZKP.
We'll talk at dinner.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, great. I don't know, do you have another question? I have a kind of fun one. 3 of Cups, is that a tarot card reference?
Yes.
And how did you come up with that name?
So the meeting of 3 of Cups is about camaraderie and people being successful and having a really good time and celebrating together. So it's really about people, you know, this collective sort of group, and sort of really tied into the buddy system, really. Yeah, so it's kind of like this like sisterhood, female camaraderie energy to it, and about people being successful and having a good time. Because a lot of these types of solutions really focus on how scary things are for people, when I really want to focus on the opportunities that happen, you know, and people making the most of their lives.
All right, and for single people going on dates and wanting to make it happen, how do they get your app? When will it be ready?
We'll need your help beta testing it this next quarter, most likely.
Awesome. And we can sign up on the QR code?
You can sign up for the waitlist on the website, which is on the screen.
Great. Okay, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here today to present an exciting investment opportunity with tremendous potential. Muse, the groundbreaking Web3 platform for musicians and music lovers alike. We're seeking your help to fuel our growth and revolutionize the music industry. Out of every dollar spent by consumers on music, the artist only makes 12 cents. The music industry has long been plagued by unfair compensation, lack of transparency, and limited artist-to-fan interactions. Artists often receive a disproportionately small share of the revenue generated from their own music, while the lion's share goes to intermediaries and other stakeholders. Music enthusiasts long for a more immersive and fulfilling music experience, where they can directly support their favorite artists and enjoy a deeper connection. This is a problem being solved with Muse. When an artist signs up for Muse, they unlock a world of possibilities. Artists can choose to release their unique music NFTs known as Muse Mints, share mementos, the behind-the-scenes and exclusive content NFTs that can offer fans an intimate glimpse into their creative journey, or offer Musecapades, which are the exclusive, unforgettable experiences for their most devoted supporters. For the fans, supporting their favorite artists is a breeze. They can sign up with their email, add funds with a credit or a debit card, and purchase the artist's amazing creations directly from the artist's profile. And the excitement doesn't stop there. Fans gain special access to the artist's exclusive gated communities, immersing themselves in the artist's world like never before. Muse is disrupting the music industry by leveraging the power of Web3 technology. Our platform empowers artists to bypass traditional intermediaries and establish a direct connection with their audience. We provide artists with their complete ownership and control over their artistic creations, ensuring fair compensation and transparency. With Muse, artists can showcase their work, engage with fans, and build a loyal community, all while having full control over their music and earnings. The market opportunity for Muse is vast. The global music streaming industry is projected to reach $80 billion by 2024. Yet, artists often receive a mere 12% of the global revenue, while the remaining 88% is distributed among labels, distributors, and intermediaries. Muse aims to shift this paradigm by empowering independent artists to earn the fair share and establish direct connections with their fans. As the demand for fairer and more transparent platforms grows, Muse is well positioned to capture substantial market share and drive industry-wide change. Muse also differentiates itself through its focus on token-gated communities. We enable artists to create exclusive communities for their most dedicated fans, where they can offer exclusive access, personalized experiences, and unique collectibles. This not only strengthens the artist-to-fan relationships, but also creates new revenue streams. By leveraging NFTs and the power of Web3, Muse provides artists and fans with an immersive and interactive experience that sets us apart from traditional music platforms. Our revenue model is multifaceted. We generate income through artist subscriptions, fan purchases of music and collectibles, and partnerships with brands for exclusive collaborations. Additionally, we explore potential revenue streams through virtual concerts, live events, and licensing deals. As we grow our user base and expand our reach, we anticipate exponential revenue growth and a thriving ecosystem for artists and fans alike. Muse has made significant progress since its inception. We have developed a functional prototype of our platform, conducted successful pilot tests with artists and fans, and garnered positive feedback from industry experts. With your help, we plan to accelerate our development, enhance the user experience, and launch a robust marketing campaign to drive user adoption and growth. Our goal is to become the go-to platform for artists and music enthusiasts, creating a vibrant and fair music ecosystem. Investing in Muse means investing in the future of the music industry, a future where artists have control, fans are engaged, and the value of music is truly recognized. With your help, we will revolutionize the way music is created, consumed, and valued. We invite you to join us on this journey and be a part of a platform that empowers artists, transforms fan experiences, and reshapes the music industry. Together, let's unlock the immense potential of Muse.
That was so cool. And for those of you who don't know, the musical performances tonight have been provided by Muse and their artists. We have them in the audience right here, so really looking forward to more acts by them.
Thank you. Shout out to Four Corners and Papa Khan that will provide the music for tonight.
Nice.
I have so many questions. First of all, you look beautiful. I love that. We love that you matched your video.
I wanted to stay cohesive on brand.
Okay, so you mentioned a few different business models. I think it's always very sharp and clever to think about all the ways in which you can do business, but having built a prototype already, where do you find the biggest opportunity? And like, where is the business, like where is most of the business happening today?
For sure. That's a great question. The way we really do it, and the main focus, is through making sure that the artists are getting paid. So the way they do that is by dropping music in forms of NFTs, and the platform takes fees on the sales of those NFTs. We've also adopted a freemium model in the sense that we don't want artists to come on the platform and have to pay right away. That would go against the whole ethos of what we're preaching. So we've allowed them to drop 3 to 5 drops on the platform free of charge. They get to generate revenue first. We make money, we make 10% on all the transactions, but they don't have to pay anything. And the artists get 90% of the revenue instead of 12% that they currently do in the music industry.
Is it exclusive to Muse then? Is this music that they would only be... Okay, I'm sure this
That's a great question, and no, it's not. We don't force exclusivity at all. I think that would go against what we're trying to preach one more time. And what we really want to be is just another avenue of revenue. We want to make sure that artists are still connecting with their fans in Web 2 while Web 3 adoption is still happening. But we're also educating a lot of artists about Web 3. We've done a lot of cross-Canada series. I think we've done 7 or 8 events so far, where we've done Web 3 education for music fans and artists, as well as showcased a lot of the local talents to make sure that they know exactly what we do, how we do it, and be very transparent about everything.
I love that. I actually think that's part of the reason why Tidal sort of misstepped, is like taking that ownership away from the creator.
Exactly.
I'd actually be curious to find out, like, if you have any traction in other markets, specifically US, and do you have any like competitors? I don't want to use that word, but you know, unfortunately, there still are.
Alternatives? Any alternatives?
Yeah.
Competitors and alternatives. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see them as competitors. I think there's a lot of space to build in this industry because it's so new, and because we genuinely just need the help of educating the masses through to cause the mass adoption. There's definitely competitors. Our oldest competitor is a year and a half old, just to demonstrate how new this industry really is. And we haven't entered the US market just yet. We're starting with Canada because it's home, because we really want to make sure that infrastructure and the idea develops here and showcases the talent here first. But obviously US is the next market we're going to enter. It's just a matter of time.
So much talent in Canada.
There is. We have the top 3 artists in the world currently from, I believe, Toronto. So, I mean, the talent is definitely here. It's just a matter of figuring out a way to get them paid in order to stay here in Toronto, in Canada, and changing that narrative that you have to leave in order to make money.
On that note, I'm curious, how do you meet your performers and musicians?
For sure, and that's a great question. Mostly through our network, but also through events. We've garnered about 600 artists on the waitlist just through the organic events we've been doing. We've got about 3,000 users on the waitlist through the same events, and that's with barely any marketing spend. Again, the platform has only been tested through the beta, through a very close circuit of people. So it's very nice to see that there's a lot of interest. And again, because we're building with social impact in mind, it's really not a hard sell. If you're looking at the industry and you're the artist and you're making 12% and you have the opportunity to connect with your fans, to actually know who your fans are, which is what the DSPs are missing a lot of the time, and monetize them, why wouldn't you want to join? So we've been doing that through organic outreach for the most part, to answer your question, and also through the network of advisors, my personal network, and just outreach through very basic marketing campaigns on social medias.
I love a no-brainer business.
Any last questions?
Just also interested to find out a little bit more about the social impact metrics you might be tracking.
How do I answer this question? the best way I can answer that is when you're looking at artists and how much they make, and just the general perception towards artists. Nowadays, it's if you're an artist, you're being asked to pull out your DSPs and show you that number on the screen, where you can calculate how many fans, and people judge you by that. I don't want that to be the metric. I want the metric to be, am I able to sustain a living by creating the arts? Because end of the day, these are the people that are the reason why the industry exists, but they're not getting compensated correctly. So my whole goal for the social impact of it is to showcase artists that make a living through just creating arts, through just creating music, and are able to say, you know what? Because I have my fans on Muse, I'm able to do this full time. I don't need another source of income, and I can do this, and I can create, and I can know who my fans are, I can connect with them directly, and just be the talent, which was what they're supposed to be.
That's a great thing to track, to be honest. Maybe not an easy one, but you know, it's a
No,
very
it
meaningful
is through,
one.
we can see all the metrics on the platform about the highest earning artists. We can see the amount of sales they have. They can see what exactly works for artists. And I think that those metrics will really help us develop artists long term, because there is no one way to develop artists. It's always a combination that specifically works for their audiences. And if we can be that guiding light long term after we've had the data on the blockchain visible to them, and they're able to access it, learn who the fans are, connect with them directly, that will be the changing factor for the industry.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to the performances later on to end the night. And without further ado, we got our next and final founder coming up on
And
stage.
also thank you to the F3 team for putting this together. I gotta put that in there. Thank you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Trisha Jose and I'm the founder of Kasama. Community and impact have been part of my DNA for as long as I can remember. From a very young age, my parents, who immigrated to Canada from the Philippines, instilled in me this mindset of doing things that matter and doing things with a purpose. In 2013, we were able to bring that mindset to life when, as a family, so my parents, my brother, and I, we co-wrote and directed an original musical that raised $300,000 for local and international charities. Despite not having any investors or formal team members or even full-time team members that were paid, we were able to stage the show 8 times across 4 cities, all sold out. And when I look back, I realized that this effort was made entirely possible through community, through the communities that we partnered with on the ground to distribute the tickets, to the community of 200 volunteers strong that just believed in our mission so much that they were willing to make it happen. Since that time, a lot has changed. Professionally, I don't work in the theater. I am actually a 2-time founder. My last company, Arrive, was Canada's first beyond banking solution for newcomers, and I've participated in and founded countless other communities since then. Personally, I'm different as well. I'm older, a little more cynical, definitely a little more burnt out, and the world around me looks very different as well. Everywhere I seem to look, there's bad news about natural disasters, terrible things happening to people and places that I love, and increasing violence. And yet, in spite that, or perhaps because of it, I believe more and more that we need to do what we can to make the world a better place. We need to do things that matter, and we need to do things with a purpose. And that's really what Kasama aims to do. At Kasama, we believe that everyone is capable of making a difference, and we believe that community is our superpower in making the world a better place. Kasama is a membership-based private network and community. It's similar to Chief, if you're familiar with that model, except we're not focused solely on executive women. Kasama is intended for people across industries, across backgrounds, anybody who has the intention to find purpose in or beyond their work. What a Kasama membership includes is access to mastermind groups of like-minded peers that are led by seasoned executive coaches trained to help you understand your why and align your purpose to your path. Members will also receive access to digital and IRL events ranging from courses and workshops to fireside chats with tenured leaders and industry experts that have been able to achieve triple bottom line results in their work. And finally, members get to meet each other, truly our Rolodex of global change makers, movers, and shakers to learn from, share best practices with, network with, and build alongside. On the back end, membership is actually facilitated on the blockchain, which means members are also owners sharing in the success of Kasama. A portion of the membership fees are allocated towards a community fund where members as token holders are able to vote on member-led projects and investment opportunities, many of them that we hope are sparked through meeting other members of Kasama, as well as a scholarship fund to ensure that financial access is not a barrier for membership. Kasama is a word smash of a Tagalog word and an Urdu word. The Tagalog word kasama means together or included. The Urdu word khazana means treasure. Our vision and mission is a rising tide that lifts all boats. Prior to this, I founded a Web3 company focused on work. We had 600 individuals from all around the world, and we connected them with opportunities at top crypto companies and organizations. What we found from speaking with our community, however, is that many of them were seeking more meaning and more purpose in the work that they were doing. I'm super excited that we already have 200 individuals on our waitlist, excited and eager to get started with Kasama today. If you choose to invest in us today, we'll be leveraging the funds to kickstart our community and our scholarship funds, as well as some of our IRL events. Today is a really exciting day because for the first time ever, we're launching our applications publicly and we're starting with the F3 community. So if our mission resonates at all with you, or if you've been thinking about what's next for you or trying to get more in touch with your why or connect your purpose with the work that you do, please, please, please apply. The world needs more people like you more than ever, and we have so much power and potential when we come together. I believe that that's what will really make all the difference. And so I really want to thank you for your time, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, last founder of the day, exciting stuff. Well, I'd love to kick it off by asking a little bit about the scholarships that you're talking about. How does that work, and how can people who are interested apply to that?
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to echo what was said earlier. Thanks to the team for putting this together. It doesn't go unnoticed, the work that you do, so I really wanted to recognize you guys for that. On the scholarship side of things, I actually piloted this model when I ran what I called workations for people who are remote workers. So during the pandemic, I took people and we went and we worked from a cottage in Muskoka. We went down to Mexico. And what we did is essentially we took a portion of people's fees that we're paying for the full price, and we took a portion of that and created a scholarship fund to create access for people who really needed that outlet but weren't able to pay for it themselves. And so we're taking that same strategy and approach and applying it here. We found that when we took look at some of the demographics and some of the people that actually attended, it diversified our audience so much more. So want to bring that into this as well.
Can you elaborate more on the business model?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're familiar with Chief, if you're familiar with On Deck, which I participated in, it's sort of a membership-based model. So people who participate want to take part in the community, they pay a membership fee, and our membership fee is $100 a month. It's paid annually, and that's really the primary business model, and that's where we take the portion for the community fund as well as the scholarship fund as well.
How do you, what's the UI or the interface through which people do the governance?
To do the governance?
Yeah.
So right now, we're primarily focused, we're still kickstarting the platform, but we'll be leveraging some of the similar platforms that we leveraged for other DAOs, where you would be able to go in and be able to put forward a proposal, and people would be able to go and vote. So leveraging some of the DAO-like structures and DAO-like platforms for the community fund specifically.
Okay, got it. So one comment, so I did recognize the word khazana because that's from my language, Urdu. So great job on that.
Awesome, I'm glad that, so my previous co-founder and I, we smashed together both our cultures as well, so that's how we got that.
Okay, great. Well, I think that's all the questions that we had. quick and short, and maybe we can move on to the next segment. And don't forget, we have voting coming up, so that will be up right after our last panel. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your patience with us as we deliberated. Okay, and I know it's been a long founder showcase. I appreciate everybody being here. All right, so I'm going to actually leave it to Val to announce the recipients of our prize. Yeah, it's very, yeah, okay, I'm going to just do it. Anyways, but I would actually like to invite maybe all of the founders to come on stage with us. I know that there's not really anybody in the audience right now, but it would be so great if we could all just cheer one another on. So come on up, founders. Yeah. And anybody who's in the audience to please come on up so they feel very supported and appreciated. Yes, that's right. Okay, this is a little gift from me and Val and Sal for each one of you. So if you can just grab one. Okay, so you don't leave empty-handed. Okay, this is kind of slow, but you know. It includes this book called Voice by Pixie Lighthorse, who's one of my favorite authors. It's a prayer book. And yeah, I promise on your hardest days, if you just open it on any page, you'll find home. Yeah. Yeah. And then also you have really cute F3 swag that I took a long time creating. Yay. Yeah. It's from Aritzia, so you know already the quality on that. All right, Val.
Okay, everybody, so a little bit of a surprise, and I'll mind you, this is US dollars, okay? So everyone here is getting something. The minimum is 1,500 USD. Woo! All right, yes. And a reminder also that this was a weighted vote between the audience and the judges. And so for 3K, we have Fred at Voice Influence. Yay! And for 5K, we have the Fun Pass. Woo! All right, and now for 13,000 US dollars, doll hairs, alignment. Congratulations. Okay, thank you. Closing dance up. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to everybody. Again, if you didn't take home one of the top 3 prizes, you do know you took home 1,500 US dollars, and I will be in touch and pay you all personally. Yeah, one final round of applause for everybody. Thank you for showing up for us. Yes, and you know, you don't have to go home, but you gotta get out of here. Love you all.